You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today, we're starting out with our first house call of the weekend. These house calls are my opportunity, my chance to make sure that you get your questions answered. A lot of people, they write in, which is just, fantastic to see, that these are questions they've had for years, sometimes decades, and that they've just never had anyone give them a straight answer about what's going on with their body, or at least where to start, right? I mean, with the house calls, my opportunity, my goal is to say, here's what you're probably missing. Here's what I've seen from seeing hundreds or thousands of other people just like yourself. Because remember, we all think that what we have is unique because, the 100 people that we associate ourselves with, they don't have what we have. But I'm telling you, when you look at the 7 billion plus people who roam the earth, there are many hundreds of thousands of people. Even with some of the most unique so-called diseases, they have the same similarities. They have the same actual symptoms. And to be honest, the truth is that these symptoms are just your unique symptoms expression of your own genetic code. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have the same underlying root causes as a lot of other people. It's just your expression is different. So I don't think that there's too much now that I haven't seen. And when I do come across a nice name that they give to a disease, I look it up, I look at the expression, I look at what's called the pathophysiology, which means how the disease actually comes out, expresses itself, and what symptoms are. And then I look at what drugs in conventional medicine are used to treat it. And then I say, oh, okay, I see that this is the same expression as what would be another autoimmune-based disease. It's just coming out like this. And I can see that what they're doing right now are using drugs that treat or do X. And then I say, now I know why the expression, how this works. And I can say, this is easy. This is how we do it naturally. And we just kind of work backwards. So it's not magic. There's nothing that I'm doing that other people can't do as long as they have the knowledge and the passion just to never give up and just to keep asking why. So if a guy comes to me and he has low testosterone and he's only in his 40s or early 50s or something like that, and he wants to know, well, should I go on testosterone replacement therapy or something like that? And I say, I think you're too young. You're way too young. Why don't we get your own natural testosterone levels boosted? Same with women with estrogen, progesterone. We just work on rebalancing the body. The body is meant to live a very long time, and it's meant to be very healthy. Like living to 100, it should not be an unrealistic goal for most people, especially if you're in your 50s and below right now. And I'll tell you why. Within 30 years, the actual treatment at a much, much deeper genetic code level, stem cell level, is going to be phenomenal. So all you want to do is this. You want to, and I truly believe this, I've never talked about it before, but I'm sharing it right now. Keep yourself healthy now. That's the bottom line. Keep yourself healthy now. Do not wear out your body from excesses of anything. Excess alcohol, excess smoking, even excess marijuana. Now that it's becoming, legal as well. But I'll do a whole show on that as well. It's still a drug. Just don't take it to excess, right? Again, there's so many other ways as well. Don't overdo any of these things. Don't do anything too extreme. Keep yourself healthy. Rebalance your body. Do your annual blood work. Look at a hair tissue mineral analysis. Look at your digestive function. Look at your omega-3 levels. Find these things out now. Do what you have to do. Keep yourself healthy. Keep yourself balanced. Keep your quality of life going strong. And then I'm telling you, you keep yourself healthy now for the next 30 years, we're going to be able to then use the best of state-of-the-art medicine to not use a pharmaceutical drug, but to actually gene edit, to change things within our bodies to not allow for the expression of what we do have for gene mutations. Again, like I'm someone with MTHFR based issues. There's no problem with me telling you that. It just means I can't methylate B vitamins very well. I can't detoxify as well as other people. Maybe that's why I did get so sick. That's just one part of it. I wouldn't have get so sick if I had seen natural health practitioners and if I wasn't given antibiotics for many years in a row, like 3 years in a row, taking over 3,000 antibiotics. So that was just the start. There's a lot more that goes into it. It's never just usually one thing. But what I'm saying is now, take care of your body now. You're going to be happy you did. Do not wait 10, 15, 20 years. The time to start, best time to start was yesterday. Second best time to start is today. All right, so let's get started with our questions. As always, right? We have some great questions this week. And I'm going to keep going with the 5 questions per show. And the reason is we are backlogged. We're going to get to all of them. Even if I have to start doing 10 a show, I will, but we are backlogged. And so I'm going to do my best until it no longer becomes humanly feasible to answer, I guess when I get 100 behind, I don't know what I'm going to do then. But, for the foreseeable future, we're good. And we're going to keep going with this. And again, I'm having fun and hope you're enjoying it as well. So the first question is from Rebekah. She's asking, are natural health and your consultations and labs covered by regular medical insurance? How do people pay for services in your practice? Okay, so this was something our office could email back, Rebekah. I wanted to give this out to other people as well and talk about functional medicine in general. So anyone, anywhere in the world can speak with me. They can also speak with my holistic health coach and nutritionist. Eventually, we're going to have another doctor or functional medicine practitioner, naturopath on our team, just to kind of keep up right now. But what I want you to know is this and understand is this, that functional medicine practitioners, whether they're a doctor or not, and they could be an acupuncturist, they could be a chiropractor, they could be an ND, they could be a traditional naturopath, who knows? All you want is someone that looks at the deepest root causes, that doesn't just give you a vitamin to replace a pharmaceutical drug. You want someone that says, yes, I'm going to use nutritional supplements, I'm going to use food, I'm going to use exercise, I'm going to use rest, I'm going to use stress reduction, I'm going to do all of these things, right? I'm going to do all of those things, but I want to do it from a core level, from a root cause and balance, and then I'm going to get your body so strong, so healthy that you don't even need all these extras right now. You don't need the coenzyme Q10s, the turmerics, and all these other things. You're just going to use a good greens, a good multi, maybe an omega if you need it. You might need some magnesium. You're going to do whatever you need for your body, but you're only going to be on a few things, right? There's nothing wrong with being on a dozen things. It's just I want your body strong enough that it doesn't even need them, so that when you add those great anti-aging based products, it's because you want to, because you want to optimize your body to that next level. So having said that, consultations with a non-licensed doctor that does not take, so if you're not licensed, you're not taking health insurance, okay? That's the bottom line. So I don't play by health insurance rules. I never will. Why? Because my first and foremost loyalty beyond everything in the entire world, including like anything that I want for myself, always goes to the person that I sit across from in my office or I sit across from on Skype. That's the bottom line. And again, I've worked with people in Pakistan, in Israel, in Iceland, in Australia, in the UK, Canada, the US, South America. I mean, I almost every continent, I believe, that I've worked with people, no Antarctica yet, but I've worked with people literally all over the world, and you just talk through Skype. It's very simple. Forms get sent to them, they send to me, I see all the symptoms, look at everything ahead of time, I look at previous health conditions, I look at what they're currently doing right now, I spend about a half hour before our consult, I go through all of those different things, and if you're a health practitioner, just kind of listen to what I'm saying. Maybe you can model it for your practice, or just, of course, use what works best for you, but you can always pull things from other practices. And again, I studied with a lot of masters, and my goal was really to be like Bruce Lee, is to say, I'm simply going to take the best of every single discipline in the world, and that is my practice. I'm not a naturopath, I'm not a functional medicine practitioner, I'm not an orthomolecular medicine person, I am not a homeopath, I am none of those things. Traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, none of those things. I am whatever all of those things are combined into one practice. I haven't come up with a good word for that yet, but that's what you're looking for. You don't want to fit into a muscle testing box. You don't want to fit into an Ayurvedic box, a traditional Chinese medicine box. All of those things can be fantastic, phenomenal, all the things, but just make sure you have a big enough arsenal, a big enough background to draw upon when someone doesn't fit perfectly into one of those things. That's all I'm saying. So that was a really long answer to no, I don't take health insurance. My labs are not covered by health insurance if we mail these things out to you. the functional medicine labs. And the reason it isn't is that we're not diagnosing disease. You can't get a test that's not diagnosing disease covered by health insurance, because how the game is played, you want health insurance to then say, okay, this diagnoses this disease, and now you're going to be on this medication, so that you'll probably be on that medication for the rest of your life for even a PPI, proton pump inhibitor for acid reflux, even though you're only supposed to be on it for 2 weeks maximum. In my opinion, no weeks maximum, no days maximum, no hours maximum. But that's how the game is played. I refuse to be a part of that game. I will never play that game. They just licensed naturopaths in Massachusetts. I will not become licensed. I will not be a part of an institution that puts an actual system of medicine before actual people. I will continue to practice how I know best, helping people get well. It's the only thing that matters to me, and I see most people recover fully within 12 to 16 weeks. And that includes autoimmune, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all the highs, all the lows. Will you need to go a little bit longer to maintain, to get into deeper? Yes. But if any system of medicine, if anything can help me practice to a better degree, I'm going to do that, but that will never be covered by health insurance, in my opinion. Now, if I was in Germany or another European country, you better believe they would cover what I do in medicine. You know why? Because they do universal health insurance. That's part of the government. And what happens is people like myself, again, I'm not the only person, right? So seek out someone in this field who you know could help you. And then if you can't, then sure, give us a call, apply online, and we could help you. So having said that, the reason why other countries do it is because this type of medicine saves money in the long run. Does it cost a little bit more upfront? Yes, it does. There's no way around it. It's because the massive amount of hours that it takes for a natural health doctor or practitioner to work with you through email, phone consults. I mean, my initial consultation is 60 minutes, sometimes 90 minutes. And usually a doctor's appointment is 15 minutes, right? Our follow-up is 60 minutes. Our follow-ups after that are 30 minutes. So it's not like there's a lot of time invested. There's a lot of time me reading over labs, previous labs. So, but one last thing that I will say is that you can submit sometimes your labs or consultations to your health insurance if you have FlexPay. And a lot of health insurances now are allowing up to $500 a year, $1,000 a year to be covered under FlexPay. We can't submit proposals, but that is covered. And that's so again, like I'm not just saying for our practice, this goes for all natural health practitioners. And hopefully this gives you kind of a better baseline for what you're looking at. And again, if you're looking at cost-wise, we run our protocols are about 4 months, 3 to 4 months. So hopefully that helps. Amanda's up next. Amanda is asking, I have been doing well GI-wise, no bloating, gas, cramps, or diarrhea. However, I believe I have a yeast infection for about 1 week now. I figured it may just go away, but it hasn't. I also have eczema popping up on my right hand where it usually is. Haven't had it since I started working with you. Really thought that these two random symptoms were odd. How can I get rid of my yeast infection naturally? Okay, so let me put that back into English. That's probably my fault for reading it incorrectly, I'm sure. So I actually worked with Amanda. I remember this now. It's funny. Now, I don't like to read the questions over ahead of time most of the time, and the reason is I like to think just fresh off the top of my head. What would I do? What would I say to this person if we were speaking together? So I worked with Amanda actually a while ago, and she came in, never had any results working with anyone before. I said, I'm always going to do my best. I'm always going to put all of that mindset out of the way, all the frustrations that people come in with because they've never gotten results before. And they say, how would you possibly ever help me? And all these things. And I understand that because believe me, I was that person myself. I went through my late teens and all of my mid 20s desperate and not believing anyone could ever help me. So I was there. I understand that. So here's the thing. She was having about, I think, 10 to 15 bowel movements per day, all loose stools. She had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, candida overgrowth in the gut. She would be nauseous or throw up after almost every meal, if not every meal, and she could eat about 5 to 6 foods only foods, or she would throw up. So I remember her very clearly, believe me, and she's an amazing person. She works in the health field. She knows what she's doing. She's actually a registered dietitian and, really smart girl. And just one more success story. I love this. Because of her success, getting completely better, having no GI disorders, being able to eat any food that she would like, she's actually going into the natural health field from the RD field. And so I love hearing that. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's, again, like I've talked about this last week, it's not about competition. It's about helping as many people as possible. We've got 7 billion plus people on Earth. They need a lot of help. And what we're doing right now is not helping those people. So let's get into her actual answer. So here's the thing is when you can be susceptible. So some people are going to be more susceptible to candida overgrowth and some bacterial overgrowth, those types of things. And so even when you've kind of cleared it all up, some people will always want to stay on a good probiotic. So I don't know if Amanda's still on this probiotic. She hasn't emailed in. So what we do recommend is keeping that gut populated with mostly small intestinal strains. We have something called a daily probiotic support. A lot of that is the lactobacilli. The lactobacilli keep the majority of the small intestine yeast-free, and they keep those pathogens down. That's what we're really about. That's what we're really big into, and it works great. We only use the probiotics after you've done your candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, which again is available at the online store. You can get the same one that Amanda used as well. You can get the same food chart and all that. So sometimes what you want to do is you want to go through a shorter protocol of that, and so we will, of course, chat more about that as well. But when we're just talking about a vaginal yeast infection, what we're talking about is a fungal infection. Since the vaginal flora shares the same bacteria as the small intestine, the intestines, the flora, we want to make sure that we change both. What I would do is a 4-week course of the Candida Clean. So we're removing a lot of that yeast from inside of the gut. We're also then doing the probiotic after that called the Clean Gut Probiotic. So 4 weeks of the Candida Clean, 4 weeks of the Clean Gut Probiotic before switching back to the regular probiotic. And then the other thing is, let's get rid of this yeast infection naturally. So there's a couple things that you can do, just two that just going to share from my practice that work well, that have worked for, let's say, 1,000+ years. Is, I know it's going to seem strange in the beginning, but garlic is antimicrobial, antifungal. So what a lot of women have done, again, not just for the last year, but for the last 1,000 years, is actually insert a clove of garlic into their vagina, and what they do is they leave it overnight. You want to make sure that there's no nicks, there's no cuts on that specific clove, and the reason is this, is that the garlic, the actual oil could burn, and so if you feel any burning, of course, take that out. But what that does is that actually kills the yeast infection on contact, like where it is specifically. So that helps amazingly well. So you do that overnight, you, of course, take it out, and then what you want to do is you'll want to then add some coconut oil all around the vaginal area. And you're going to want to do that for a couple different reasons. One, it's antifungal, it's antimicrobial. The lauric acid and caprylic acid work fantastically well. So that's going to help out tremendously. This should only be needed to be done for maybe 3 days to 7 days maximum. And then what you can do is you can actually just use a lactobacilli probiotic, so Lactobacillus acidophilus, and insert that as a suppository. And then you're going to add more of the acidifying bacteria to the vaginal flora. Why is that important? Because a lot of people forget, or a lot of women forget, and men don't even think about it, don't even care, is that the vaginal flora is supposed to be pretty acidic. It's not everything in your body is supposed to be alkaline. We always talk about acid and alkaline. Just alkalize everything in the world. We're not supposed to do that. Your stomach should be acidic, small intestine slightly acidic, vaginal flora acidic as well. So what happens is sometimes after sex, sometimes the pH can change. And so what happens is when it becomes a little more alkaline, then you're more prone to yeast infections. So I can do a whole show on this as well, and I'm happy to in the future, but that's a great protocol that will absolutely work for you. Okay. Shahna's up next. Shahna is asking, love the podcast and all of the help. Stay healthy. Quick question. Thank you for letting me know that I should stay healthy because I do need to take that own advice myself. Quick question. Is there anything unhealthy or dangerous about a plant-based vegan menu? Some sources, critics claim it is lacking important nutrients, etc., and thus harmful to have a diet that does not include meat, at least occasionally. Thank you. Okay, so real great question. Controversial. I'm always just going to present you with the facts. So the bottom line is this. Most of the world should become more vegetarian, if not definitely more vegan-based. So the question then, is it healthier or not? Well, it honestly depends on the person. So for an endomorph, a larger body type that is just an accumulator, they hold on to everything, it could be fantastic for them. Maybe a little less so for a mesomorph, and then not maybe as great for an ectomorph who sometimes needs more of the anabolic foods, and anabolic foods being more tissue-based foods, fish, egg, meat, those types of things. Now, before anyone who's vegan gets very upset at me saying this, I want to present you with facts. I also want to keep people healthy, but then I want to give both sides to this argument because I want to be fair. I always want to be as unbiased as possible. I really have no biases. I have no loyalty to any supplement company, no loyalty to any lab company. My only loyalty is literally to you, and it's making sure that you stay healthy, doing the same things I would recommend for my own family. So I live a predominantly vegan lifestyle. I do have some occasional fish, some occasional meat, some occasional eggs. Very, very little. It works great for my body. How can you know if it works great for your body? You can lab test. You can do something like a hair tissue mineral analysis to look at mineral levels. You can do something like a organic acid test to look at your vitamin levels, to look at your detox capacity, all of those specific things. You can have your blood work run once per year to make sure that you're healthy. Is your energy strong? Is your endocrine system strong? Like your adrenals, you could do an adrenal-based test. You could do a thyroid test. So you could do all of these things to make sure that you're in good, healthy condition. But I'll tell you this, I work with hundreds of vegans in my practice, and I develop vegan meal plans for them, and they are some of the healthiest, fittest people in the world. I can tell you this, if you are a real vegan, you understand how vegan nutrition works. You're getting all of your nutrients. You're doing something like a greens powder, a smoothie with an all-in-one. You're taking a multi. You're doing all of those things. I'm telling you, you're going to be healthier as a vegan than someone who eats bacon and lard and all of the insane paleo recommendations of the day. Now, keep in mind, I am paleo, but I'm real paleo, and I understand how humans are actually meant to eat. Again, I didn't make it up, but humans did not wake up eating bacon and eggs and chicken sausage. They did not then have a grass-fed burger with more bacon and maybe other things with it for lunch. And they didn't sit down to a massive portion of salmon or more red meat at night with, again, more wrapped in bacon. So that is an absolutely absurd diet. It is not a real human diet. Is it paleo? Yes, but that's an incorrect paleo diet. The best people in the world for both paleo and vegan, really, I've talked about this before, they argue over about 3 to 4 ounces of animal protein or fish or eggs per day. So I don't have animal protein every day. I eat meat very, very infrequently, but I do have fish and I do have eggs once per week. It works with me. I lab test myself and I feel absolutely fantastic. So all I can say to you is the only way to know, literally the only way to know, is to lab test. Now, if you're feeling great, then that counts for a lot too. It really does. But if you're not lab testing at least once per year, I'm telling you, you're missing out. You don't want to wait for things to happen. I don't know if that was the answer you were looking for, but I want to give you one bottom line one. If you are vegan, if you are vegetarian, you can be absolutely very, very healthy. And if you're not going to eat meat, you're not going to eat anything that comes from an animal because you are vegan. I totally respect that. I am really on board with that philosophy. I think it's a beautiful philosophy. It's a beautiful spiritual philosophy. And who knows, maybe I will be there one day, but I am not there right now. And I know the backlash because of some of those philosophies. What I'm trying to do right now is keep myself in healthy, tip-top condition where I can work 12 hours a day and I can do everything that I want to, be a great, dad, husband, all those things, have plenty of energy. And I've been vegan. So I've been, now I know vegan is a lifestyle, but I've been no animal protein, no animal anything, no fish, no eggs, no anything for at least 6 months at a time. And I've done that for multiple times in my life. By the end of about 2 months or so, I don't have the same get up and go, the same energy, the same all of that. And again, maybe in the future that will change. But for right now, I can tell you that it's just not the best for me. And it's not the best for everyone in my practice either. For some people, if that is their choice, then I say, more power to you. And I commend you. I really do. And I will help you always be the healthiest that you can be, whether you decide to or not. So again, personal choice, really respect it though, and do believe in it. So Elma's up next. Elma's asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. I love listening to your podcast and how they're so informative. You recently mentioned in a house call that it'd be a good idea giving kids a good multivitamin. I was wondering if you could recommend any specific brands. I've been searching for one for some time now and honestly get overwhelmed with all the variety out there. Thanks so much for your feedback. All right. So I do recommend a multivitamin for all of the children in my practice. I find it to be essential. Why? Because even if you're on the best plant-based diet, you're also doing some meat and some fish and things like that. Keep in mind, all vegetables, all fruits are about 20% to 50% less nutrients than they were just about 100 years ago. That's a fact. It's because the nutrients aren't in the soil, so they can't make it into the vegetables. It's just the way it is, whether it's organic or not. Organic's going to be better, no doubt about that, but it's still less. So I want kids to be healthy. I want them to be strong. I want their brains to be strong. Development happens now from, day one or actually inside the womb, right? But so we want that to happen. Here's what I do. I do recommend gummies. So gummies are okay. I don't love them. I really don't, because I work with kids and so many digestive issues and psoriasis, eczema. But Nordic Natural makes a fine brand. Smart. I forget the name of it right now. I'll link it up in the show notes as well. Makes a fine one as well. And a liquid multi. So there used to be a great liquid multi called Liquid Nutrients. It was made by Pure Encapsulations. They no longer make it anymore. They're a functional medicine brand. It's too bad, but they don't. And there's only one. I like liquid ones better. Why? Because I can make my kids their smoothie in the morning. It's going to have their blueberries and the raspberries and the coconut oil that I usually put in there, or some coconut cream. And then you can add the liquid multi, because kids are only going to drink like 2-3 ounces of that smoothie. So what you do is you add their liquid multi and any other, that's my trick. And I add in any other things that you want there in that their small portion, not in the blender. And you just swirl that around, and then they'll drink that, and then they'll get the full multi and mineral for the day. So there's a company out there right now called Child Life that makes a decent one. It's not the best. I'm going to be honest, it's folic acid versus nature folate. But here's the good news. I know this, and I'm telling you this right now. I've said this before. I will only ever make a nutritional supplement because I don't really want to, right? I don't want all the overhead, all the inventory, but I will only make a nutritional supplement if there's a need for it in the marketplace. And there is no good children's multi right now. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking my daily nutritional support powder, which is meant for adults, and I'm taking out the herbs, and I'm adding those into the other formula for the Dr. Ball Detox so that children can use the all-in-one. They're not going to use 2 scoops per day. They're going to use anywhere from a half a scoop to 1 scoop, depending on their weight. And I'll talk about how to do that. And it'll be about 4 months from now. And I'll let everybody know about that. So I'll announce that on a show and we'll do something special for that. But it's also going to be for pregnant women and nursing women as well. And since obviously I work with so many women on fertility and also pregnancy, I want them to have a really good product too with methylated good quality vitamins. So that's why I'm creating it, because it doesn't exist. So that is what we're doing. And we are actually, I've already formulated it and it's just in production. Production time takes about 12 to 16 weeks, believe it or not. So Herbal Life for Children, or Child Life multivitamin, they sell it at Whole Foods. Nordic Naturals makes a gummy as well, Nordic Gummies. And I wish I could remember the name of it right now, but it's Smart something, and I'm sure you're saying it to yourself out there that you can think of it, and they sell that as well. But I'm going to link up to it in the show notes anyways. Okay, last question of the day, and it's from Caitlin. Hi, I'm a registered dietitian and have been following functional medicine philosophy in the community for a while now. This approach to disease prevention and healing has given me the faith I was beginning to lack from working as an RD in conventional roles. I currently am working in the Boston area, but I'm eager to find a setting in which I can utilize my knowledge and expand my skills using functional approach. Do you have any suggestions for how to begin transitioning to functional medicine from a traditional RD setting? I would greatly appreciate any insight you have. Thank you for all your great work with this amazing and inspiring community of professionals. Best. Okay. So, Caitlin, I see here you have your master's and you have your RD, your registered dietitian. It's great. It really is, because that's the basis point. I'm going to look, whenever I hire, I always look to make sure, yes, the education is there. But the problem is this. I can't hire anyone with a traditional master's, and I can't hire an RD. And a lot of RDs apply. And the reason I say to them is there's no doubt about it, you're smart. The problem is you kind of learned the wrong thing. And I feel bad saying that, but you just learned the conventional medicine standpoint of, hey, drink a glass of milk with every meal. Make sure you're getting this, this, and this. Drink chocolate milk after your workouts because it's a great recovery shake. It's the most insane things. And Caitlin, hopefully you're laughing to yourself and that you're not upset by that I said that, because I know that you're going to go on to be absolutely fantastic. And you're going to be way above your peers in the field because they're stuck listening to all of these traditional methods that we know don't work. And they're horrible. And they're not only they're not helping a lot of people who are desperate are relying on them. That's my problem. And so what I want to see is I want these RDs with this amazing background and amazing education. Because don't get me wrong, what you studied has given you the knowledge and background that you need. But now we need you to say, okay, I have this knowledge about nutritional biochemistry, chemistry in general, how the body works, physiology, anatomy, food sensitivities, all that. So great, you need that, and it's going to get you way ahead of the curve. All we need you to do, so that if you go to work in a functional medicine clinic or environment, is to start to study functional medicine and nutrition from a holistic standpoint rather than from a conventional standpoint. So when I hire other people in my practice, what I do is I say, okay, what is their holistic background? Have they ever heard of the Institute for Functional Medicine? Have they ever heard of Candida, SIBO, digestive-based issues? Have they ever heard of a cortisol hormone-based test, an organic acids test? Have they ever heard of, any of these things? And if they have, well, then they're well on their way. I'm not expecting them to be an expert. And believe me, for all these places that you apply to, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to have a good understanding. And then what's going to happen is if you're at a good clinic or a good place, you're going to work alongside the doctor. You're going to see people yourself, and then you're going to bring kind of your notes, your things to the doctor. This is what I do in my own practice. So I'm just sharing that with you. And again, if you're a health professional, hopefully this helps. And the doctor is then going to say, okay, well, what's your plan? What do you plan to do with this person? And the doctor's going to say, okay, that's great. That I wouldn't do that. Here's why. And I would also do this. And here's why. And then really after about 6 months of doing that, you're going to say, wow, like I've just learned so much. I've learned more than I could in 3-4 years of school. That was fantastic. And that's really how it works. So you just kind of need to accumulate the basis first, the fundamentals, then get in there, get the practice, and you're going to know what you're doing. And that's what I did. I just said like, hey, I've read the books. I mean, there's not really much more for me to read, but now let me see how it's implemented in practice. And that's when I just went and I just literally did internships and residencies all over the world. And that's it. I just said, hey, I want to see what you're literally doing in your practice. Can I do that? So the next question for me is then, can I shadow you in your practice? And that question is, I can't do that because I don't allow people to sit in on my consultations. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I don't feel it's fair to the actual person that I'm working with, and the reason, well, the patient or wellness client. And the reason is this, that these are very deep things that we're talking about. A lot of them are pretty hardcore health issues or stress related or, things they have going on in their life. And it's different if they're talking to two people for the first time they've ever met rather than just one person. So hopefully this helps. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Cabral House Call. Really enjoy answering your questions. The shows might go a little longer now. We have more questions. I'm not going to shortchange anyone, but hopefully you're getting enough value out of them that you do enjoy it, that it is worth your time. And as always, if I can improve this podcast in any way, I'd love to hear it because I will. I'll improve it. It's all about you. Just let me know. Just go to stevecabral.com/Ask Cabral. Have a great rest of the weekend, and hopefully you'll tune back in tomorrow because we have another 5 amazing questions coming your way. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevecabral.com/courses.